Hey everyone, Steve here with Class A Surfacing. Today I'm going to talk about a subject that's very sensitive for some people. I think it's kind of funny, but the subject is how to make a planar surface. So I'm going to start out with something just as simple as going in, making a sketch, drawing out a rectangle, exiting out, and here, how do I make a planar surface in that rectangle? Now, in the olden days, a lot of people would use like maybe a linear sweep to draw a line and sweep it linearly, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. Or they would basically do this. They would split a plane with that sketch. Now you'll notice that I have two options here for that result on that split. When I select OK, I get my split. If I basically analyze this, so what I want to do is I want to go to geometric information. I want to check this out. It's face split plane. Yes, it says it's planar. We know it's planar because A, it says it there. If I look at this, let me bring this onto this screen. You'll notice here the little icon, the little caliper icon, or the micrometers. Can't speak today. Icon has switched, or verniers actually is what they are. These technically shows a plane. So as we look at that, we know that's planar, but it's a split. And the reason why I don't like doing it this way is because it has multiple options. Something happens if this were on let's say a plane, not an axis plane, but a regular plane, and sometimes you get an isolated plane. And then somebody gives you a new isolated plane, or you have a new position you want to move to, and you switch one for the other, and the normals are different on those planes. So you got a bit of work to do in order to fix the split. It may break everything following. Now, what I like to do is use a fill. I'm going to go in here, do a fill, and you'll notice that I get much the same result. It's a fill, planar face. Right, there's my verniers. They have the little plane next to them, and you can see that it is planar. But the beauty of this is because it's a fill, I can only have one possible result. That normal on that surface is never going to switch. It's never going to flip to the other side. Now, the reason why there's such an aversion to using fill stems from old Catia stuff from version 4, where it was basically almost a big no-no, like magical voodoo. Do not use the fill command in V4, and a lot of that stigma has stuck with it in V5. In V5, it's a different operator. It does a great job. So I'm a big fan of the fill command. Now, something else that you can do with the fill command these days is, I'm just going to double click on that. I'm going to draw an interior boundary. I'm going to exit out. If I came in here and tried to split this to this boundary, you'll see that I get this error saying, hey, wait a minute, I've got this thing with a stuff and I can't do it. If I come in here with the fill and I use my fill now, I'm going to pick, if I pick this plane, you'll notice it gives me a closed contour. I say OK. It gives me two results. It gives me a result inside and it gives me a result outside. Not what I really want to do. Now, if I go into fill, and I'll do this, this is the same thing that would happen with a split. I can come in here and say create an extracted point. I'm going to extract this. There's my fill. Okay, good. But something that I have now is inner boundaries. I can come in here, create an extract for my inner boundary. And what's nice about this is, let me create my extracting point, create you, select OK, is that, again, this system knows that that is an inner boundary. If this were a split, I could, and on a plane, as I just did here, I could potentially have three results, one to the outside, one to the inside of such, and one to the inside of that hole, depending on how the normal of the plane shifted. Okay, but in this case, there's only one possible result because the system knows that is an inner boundary. If I double click on this and I make this bigger, exit out, you'll notice that the only way that this kind of got messed up is by making what was once an inner boundary the outer boundary. Now, because it's a fill, I can go in there and I can remove these things and I can modify it and change it. And I'll do a fill lecture one of these days, but right now I'm just going to leave it at that. So the fill does a really good job, and again, it's a very stable element. As long as that sketch stays closed, you'll always have a planar surface. So to fill or not to fill, to split or not to split. In this case, I'm going to let fill do the job for me. It does a really good job. Now, again, one of the things that people used to do in the olden days is, let me delete all this, exit out, is they would use a sweep linear with a draft direction. So they want to sweep this, let's say, let's sweep that. We'll go to 0 degrees and preview, make it a bit bigger. Now if I look at this and I come in here, my verniers, there's my plane. If I analyze this, once again, I get plane. A little bit more complex, this time it's a NURB surface. I don't particularly care for doing it this way, and the reason behind it is because I can double click on this and you'll notice that technically if I just up this a little bit, I have 4 possible results based off of the direction that I want this thing to go, which means that I do not have a necessarily stable element dictating the normal off of that surface. So if I have a lot of things built off of it, other trims, splits, fillets, whatever that may be, then I could potentially be building errors into the system. So for those people that have an aversion to fill, just use fill. It builds the most stable sound element. It's easy, you know what it is. It's not going to fail unless the sketch itself becomes an open element. The normal isn't going to reverse. You can switch it from one plane to the next to the next. Doesn't matter the direction. That I'm talking about the sketch that makes the fill, and it's always going to stay the same. It's not the surface itself isn't based necessarily off of the plane. It's based off of the sketch. Whereas the split is based off of the plane. The sweep is based off of the plane. These other elements have far more potential for failure. So in this case, planar surfaces always go with the fill. If for some reason the fill isn't going to give it to you, which it should because you're putting it on plane, sweep is good, split is good, or I should say they're just fine. They will do it, but again, my preference, champion of them all, is in this case the fill surface for planar. Anyway, hope that helps. If you like the video, please like, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Hopefully I'll be able to get to them soon, just getting really busy with work. And once again, thanks.